Aloha students, and welcome back to another episode of Stay at Home Blues and Oranges, brought to you by After School All Stars Hawaii. My name is Aunty Lani, and today we will be learning how to make baked spaghetti. So for today's recipe, the ingredients and materials that we will need will be, start off with our ingredients, cheese. So I have cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. I also have Parmesan cheese, dry Parmesan cheese. We have spaghetti sauce, spaghetti noodles, ground beef, and fresh garlic. For our materials, we will need one big pot, a medium-sized pan, a cutting board, as you can see here, a knife, a mixing spoon, and another mixing spoon, and a small bowl, along with a pan to place everything inside. Let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is fill up our big pot with water so we can start boiling our noodles. You can fill up your pot about halfway, just like that. Okay guys, so just a little tip. We have our water here that we filled up in our pot halfway. We are now going to turn on our stove. But before we put our noodles in, you can always add a little bit of oil. So I would do about a tablespoon of oil, maybe 2 pinches of salt. So the oil will help, when you place it in the water, it will help the noodles not stick together. And also the salt will help us flavor our noodles. So I'll show you. I'm going to turn on my stove here. Okay, so that way it's gonna start boiling. Aunty Lani's just gonna eyeball this, but usually about a tablespoon should be good. Just gonna place some oil in your water. Also a pinch of salt, 2 pinches. Oh, that's a lot. Let's just do that right there. Okay, and then we'll get our noodles and place our noodles into the pot too. Okay everyone, so while we're waiting for our water to boil so that we can place our noodles into their pot, we are now gonna start cooking our hamburger in our medium-sized pan. Okay, so now that we're at the stove and we're ready to start frying up our hamburger, first thing we need to do is turn on our stove. So I'm gonna place it on medium heat. Then I already opened the packaging off of the hamburger. So we're just gonna place it directly into the pan. The reason why I'm not putting oil is because once you start frying your hamburger, it will start producing its own oil to help the hamburger cook itself. So you don't have to add oil into your pan. Just like this. Just like that. You can get your spoon here and you can kind of break it down. Okay, and then we're just gonna let this cook up on the stove. Wait for our water to boil here next to it. Okay, and in the meantime, we're gonna go back to our cutting board and start mincing our garlic. So I'll show you that right now. Okay, so now we have our cutting board and our knife. We're gonna start mincing our garlic. First of all, I just wanna stress how important it is to use a knife properly. So always make sure that you have a really good grip. Some people will place their finger on top of the knife to help control it while you're cutting. I usually like to just grip the whole thing and I just gently move my hand like this. But I'll show you how to hold your garlic so you don't accidentally cut your finger while mincing. So let me show you how to peel back your skin from your garlic. You're just gonna take your whole garlic, and if you gently rub your thumb alongside, it will start ripping apart or peeling apart. So sometimes I just like to get in there and push it down at my thumb. I would say about 3 cloves of garlic, like these, the size. Okay, so that looks good. That's 3 here. So you can start peeling away your layers, your outer layers. If you're having trouble, this one peeled off really nice. You can actually hold your knife, grip your knife. You can actually cut the little ends off, like so. See? Oh, and when you're holding your garlic, I usually like to place my fingers upwards because if I put my knife down, I can't cut my finger. So you're just gonna push down, peel that part off, and then now you can kind of see that the garlic is exposed. Easier for you to peel back the skin. Like so. Just like that. So we have 3 cloves of garlic. Okay? Okay, everyone. So now that we have our garlic cloves cleaned, I'm gonna start with 1. So what Aunty Lani does is I grip my knife really well, but you're gonna use the flat surface here. So you're gonna take your flat surface, place it on your garlic, like so. Now what Auntie does, don't pound it. You can actually just take your palm and gently push down. Then it creates a flat surface for you to cut your garlic. So remember, when you're cutting, always point your fingers directly down. Why? Because if you are cutting, you can't cut yourself. See? So let's try. So here's my garlic. I have my fingers placed correctly. I'm gripping my knife correctly, and I'm just gently lifting. So you're gonna have your knife sitting on the cutting board flat, and you're just gonna lift. You can practice. You're just gonna lift up onto your tip, like so. So watch Auntie. So flat, you're gonna lift. So you're not lifting your knife off of the board. It's still gonna be touching the board. Always have contact with your cutting board. So place your knife over your garlic and gently start chopping, okay? Don't worry about your fingers. As long as you're keeping your fingers up high like I taught you, you should be fine. So we're just slowly dicing and mincing. So what Auntie does is now I take my knife and I kind of just hold the tip and I just keep going across, okay? You can always just place it back into one small spot. Take your knife, your flat part, and you can always just press down on it as well, okay? This is gonna help release all that yummy flavor from the garlic, okay? So that's 1. Then I'm gonna cut my last 2. Okay? Just like that. Aunty Lani likes to transfer it to a little bowl so that when I take it to the stove, it's easier to just scoop it right in. Okay? Just like that. Got your garlic. Okay, everybody. So we're bringing you back to the stove. You can see that the hamburger is nicely browned. If you look over, you can see that our water is boiling. So our pot is ready for our noodles. Our hamburger is ready for our fresh garlic. So here's our fresh minced garlic. Aunty Lani's just gonna use my spoon, scrape it into the pan, like so. Sorry, can't see, huh? Okay. And then another tip, because our spaghetti sauce has lots of flavor already, you don't need to do this, but Aunty Lani likes to do this. So now that my hamburger is ground and cooked, and we have our minced garlic, I like to season my meat just so that it has its own flavor. We're just gonna use basic salt and black pepper. So if you want, you can just, I like to place it in my hand, especially if I'm using a big container. That way I can control how much salt I place into my hamburger. So you're just gonna sprinkle some salt. Might just do another pinch, just like that. Throw that in there. Then we're gonna get our black pepper right here. And you can season your meat. You can always use garlic salt if you want, but Aunty Lani's just keeping it simple, salt and black pepper. Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm gonna show you how to put your noodles into your pot, okay? Okay, everyone, so we have our package of noodles here. You can use the scissors and pre-cut it. Aunty Lani just rips it, like so. Some people will place the whole noodles right into the pot, which Aunty Lani's gonna do today. But if you're cooking with my children, they actually like to take the noodles and break it in half, only because it's fun. So they take it, they break it in half, just like that, and place it into the pot. And we're gonna let it boil. But Aunty Lani just takes the whole package of noodles and puts it directly into the pot. So what's gonna happen is your noodles are sticking out of the pot, but as it starts to cook on the bottom, it's gonna start shrinking down and wilting down into the pot. Then I'll show you what you can do. You can take your spoon here, and you're just gonna help the noodles fall into the pot, okay? Just like that. So you're just gonna toss it around a bit, and you can just leave that. We're gonna set a timer, and we're actually gonna let this boil for about 7 minutes, okay? So timer. I got my 7 minutes on there, so we're just gonna let it boil, okay? Just just like that. Got your noodles boiling. You got your hamburger nice and brown, ready for our spaghetti sauce. Okay everyone, so as you can see, our hamburger is nice and brown and cooked all the way through. So the last step, well not last step, but the next step is putting our marinara sauce in. So our spaghetti sauce of choice. So Aunty Lani is just gonna open and we're just gonna pour it right into our hamburger. Aunty Lani likes to, another trick is I like to have my fire really low. And the purpose for that is once the sauce starts to boil, you don't want it to pop up at you. So keep it low and we're just gonna let the sauce simmer and marinate all together with the hamburger. Okay, so as you can see, our timer is at 0, so that means our noodles are done. You can see that because I only put half a pot of water, the noodles kind of just absorbed everything. If you look over here, our sauce is ready to go. I had it simmering. So Aunty Lani's actually gonna take the pot and we're gonna put it through a colander. Okay, so if you come here, so I'm taking a colander, placing it into the sink, and I'm just gonna pour the noodles in there. Oh yeah, a lot of the water got absorbed. So you can always take some nice cold water and kind of cool down your noodles, just like that. Okay. So what Aunty Lani likes to do is I like to take it, shake it up, get all the water out, and I place it back into the pot. Just like that. Why? So that when the water is draining, it has somewhere to drain into. Okay? Just like that. Okay everyone, so now that we have our noodles cooked and draining, we also have our sauce here that's already cooked. We're now gonna take our big pan. And what Aunty Lani likes to do is I actually like to place my noodles in the pan first. So just gonna lift it out. So if you come look, you can see that we have some liquid in here. So that's why Aunty Lani likes to place it over the pot so it can kind of just drain all that excess water out of the noodles. So now we're just gonna take this, our noodles, pour it right into our pan. Just like that. Okay, oh, got one stuck. Move this out of the way. So I just take my spoon and I kind of just move my noodles around. Okay. Now you can take your sauce and place it over your noodles. Just like that. So we have our ground beef, our marinara sauce, and some minced garlic, and some spices. We had salt and black pepper to season our ground beef. So Auntie's just gonna take my 2 spoons, mix everything together like so. Okay, take your time, move it closer to me. This is the fun part. Okay. Okay everyone, so now that we have everything mixed together, you can see here, this is my favorite part. So we have our mozzarella cheese and our cheddar cheese. And remember I told you we had Parmesan as well. So I love a lot of cheese in my big spaghetti. So first I'm actually gonna take my Parmesan and I'm just gonna place a top layer over the noodles and the hamburger. So just like this. You can be very generous, especially if you like cheese. I know I do, and I know my children do as well. So my son, sometimes he likes to put a top layer and then he'll mix it all together. Just like that. So you have Parmesan mixed all into your yummy noodles and sauce. Remember, there's no right way. It's just about having fun and getting everything mixed all together. Okay, so I'm gonna make it flat again real quick. Place 1 more layer of Parmesan. Okay. You can be generous. It's up to you. It depends on how much you like cheese. I'm just gonna do that. I'm actually gonna start removing my spoons from the pan too. Make it flat. Okay? Just like that. Then I'll show you how to put the cheese on. Okay everyone, we're almost there. So we have our cheddar cheese and our mozzarella. You can either use just one or you can use two, but I like to use two instead of just one. So first I'm gonna take my cheddar and just do a layer. Come closer, you can see. Remember, it just all depends on how much cheese you want. So that's the cheddar. So now I'm taking some of the mozzarella here and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on. Might get stuck a little, so just shred it apart. And this is all gonna bake into the oven. Okay, so that looks good. If you want, you can always add more Parmesan on top. Just gonna put a little. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, now we can take our pan and place it into the oven. Okay everyone, so as you can see, I have our baked spaghetti in the pan. I brought it to the stove. We have it set at bake at 425 degrees. Aunty Lani's gonna set my timer first before I place it into the oven. So I'm gonna select my timer here. 15 minutes. Because everything is already cooked through, you're just putting it in the oven so that the cheese can melt down. So 15 minutes, start. So now you can see that it's counting down. So we are now, be very careful. The oven is really hot. I'm gonna open my oven door. Remember, we're not foiling it. You're gonna take your baked spaghetti and place it into the oven. So we'll come back and check on it in 15 minutes. Just like that. Okay everyone, as you can see, our oven is counting down. We have less than a second left. It's done. Okay, I'm gonna just turn off my timer so it's not beeping while Aunty Lani's talking. So end, turn that off. Just like that. I actually turned off the oven too. So remember that when you're using an oven, when you're taking something out, it's really, really hot. So you can use oven mitts. I'm using kitchen towels because we don't have oven mitts right now. But you can use anything, but always make sure you use something to protect your hands. So we're gonna just open the oven door. Be very careful. Don't stand in front because the heat's just gonna come right at you. So maybe stand to the side and just gently open your door. Just like that. And the heat will come out this way. So Auntie's gonna use my kitchen towels to pull out the rack, just slightly, like a quarter way out. Then you're gonna take your baked spaghetti, be gentle, push it back in, place your door closed, and there you go, baked spaghetti. Okay everyone, so now that we have our baked spaghetti out of the oven, I am gonna let you know it's really, really hot, so I would leave it out for about 5 minutes to cool down before you can serve it. You can serve it to your family. If you have a potluck to go to, this is amazing to take out a potluck. It's so easy. You throw it all in a pan, you bake it, you cover it with foil, and then you bring it over to the potluck. It's really fun. You can also serve this with garlic bread. My family loves to eat baked spaghetti with garlic bread. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Share it with your family. Let me know if you guys like it. So until I see you in the next episode, take care, be safe, aloha.